Topping today's news, the Prime Minister opens the new Bernard Road Family Court. The New York Supreme Court denies a motion by China Construction America to delay payments to Ismailian. The government and Bahamas are continuing to deal with union issues, and the Member of Parliament for South and Central Eleuthera reacts to suggestions he may not be re-elected, and DPM Cooper named Caribbean Tourism Minister. Good evening, Bahamas. A lot of news tonight. I'm Jcn Saunders. This is your JCN Evening News. It's a pleasure to have you join us. The new family court was open today. The complex officially opened this morning on Bernard Road. It is part of the Davis administration's comprehensive court complex improvement. The program meant to upgrade the current legal system of the Bahamas. Prime Minister Philip Davis cut the ribbon and officially opened the complex this morning.
The family unit is the basic building block of our society. When families thrive, societies thrive. Conversely, when families struggle, when they are not supported, and when they are disenfranchised, that is when we see social decay and communities in decline. So, we must invest heavily in protecting our families and facilitating justice on their behalf. If this complex can help to protect a child, support a mother, or provide a fair arrangement for a father seeking to be in his child's life. If this complex can deliver these outcomes at a faster pace, thanks to our expanded capacity, then this investment will have been worth it. Across our court system, we are making major investments to expedite justice for all Bahamians. As they say, justice delayed is justice denied.
Attorney General and Minister for Legal Affairs Senator Ryan Pinder gave remarks and reflected on the significance of the event.
The family court complex is our first step not only for a modern court infrastructure, but towards the long-promised system of specialty courts in the country. We continue to advance to ensure a full complement of specialty courts is realized. We firmly believe that different disputes, disciplines, and sensitivities of matters before the courts require unique judicial infrastructure focus. In the family and juvenile context, privacy is important, as is the ability to try to mediate disputes to equitable resolutions and to try to remove the adversarial nature of family disputes. The complex today achieves these goals.
Attorney General Pinder said the government is committed to the improvement of the functionality of the judiciary.
Today we open the initial phase of the family court complex. And when completed, it will do the work of the Family and Domestic Magistrates Courts, the Family Division and the Probate Division of the Supreme Court, their registries, the Juvenile Court, and importantly, a mediation center. Today, the registries have been moved and the magistrate section is complete, and the refit of the Family and Probate Division should be complete by the time of the opening of the new year. And the final phase would be to complete the juvenile courts and the mediation center.
Courts, once complete, will have a mediation room, expertise for pretrial dispute resolution when dealing with sensitive family disputes, among a number of other features. This week, the Ministry of Labor and Public Service met with the Ministry of Finance and other key stakeholders to discuss its decision to implement bi-weekly payments for public servants through the new Oracle system. Belinda Wilson, president of the Bahamas National Trade Union Congress, called on public servants to ignore and deny the ministry's proposal due to a number of unanswered questions and a unilateral decision by the government. On Wednesday, while at the office of the Prime Minister, the press briefing there, Bernard Evans, he's the chief labor consultant in the office of the Prime Minister, responding to Ms. Wilson's comments and position on the matter.
There are 3 Congresses in this country, as you may be aware. One is led by Obie Ferguson, the other is led by Dwayne Woods, and one is led by Belinda Wilson. Belinda Wilson could not make yesterday's presentation. There was a presentation set for the earlier week prior to, but there were some conflicting schedules with the training room at Customs, so that was we were unable to facilitate that meeting. So when we rescheduled, she could not make that meeting. But again, the presenters are making themselves available, so whenever they are ready. I noticed the festive season and perhaps things are a little bit tight, but they're able to meet with them at any time when they are available to do so.
Mr. Evans himself, a former union leader, said with regards to the various industrial agreements in the civil service, terms cannot be changed unilaterally. However, the Oracle system does not come under that category, according to Mr. Evans. At the office of the Prime Minister on Wednesday, when asked about challenges in his South and Central Eleuthera constituency and their impacts on him being re-elected, Minister of Works and Family Island Affairs Clay Sweeting expressed confidence in what he and the Davis administration have accomplished for Eleuthera natives, despite the ongoing legacy issues, especially related to utilities.
Area, right? I think as a member of parliament, you are elected to represent. You are elected to agitate. And if it's under your portfolio that you can do, you know. But at the same token, and I think sometimes as Bahamians, we look at all the negative. You asked me if this will tarnish my re-election hopes or whatever. You haven't spoke about the new healthcare facility that's under construction. You haven't spoke about the 163 miles of road that's being paved in Eleuthera. You haven't spoke about BTVI, the first campus in a family island opened in Eleuthera. You know, you haven't spoken about, for the first time, low-cost housing being built in Rock Sound.
Minister Sweeting says although there is much more work to be done, he can only hope that decades worth of issues corrected by the Davis administration has a positive effect on his constituents.
Especially in this Christmas season. Let's go there. Where we speak about hope, we speak about optimism. There's a lot that the administration has done, especially in Central and South, that they haven't seen for decades. In January, we'll be building a dock in Tarpon Bay. We'll be building a dock in James Siston. So you look at all of these things that the government has done in a constituency that's been neglected for years. I don't see, or I would hope, that challenges that we're correcting over decades of negligence would determine whether or not I'm re-elected in Central and South Eleuthera.
Sweeting was speaking after revealing the timeline and framework for the 2025 local government elections. Meanwhile, the general elections, they are set for 2026, and both the PLP and FNM are showing signs of gearing up for that showdown. And finally, Tourism Minister Chester Cooper has been named Caribbean Tourism Minister of the Year by the Caribbean Tourism Organization. It was announced at this year's Caribbean Travel Awards. The Bahamas has been named a dominant force in the Caribbean tourism sector and has been crowned Caribbean Destination of the Year. The awards, which celebrate excellence across 36 categories in the Caribbean travel industry, are based on the expertise and insights of the Caribbean Journal editorial team. The CJ says that unlike most ministers who oversee a single destination, Cooper is responsible for 16 islands within the Bahamas, each with its unique tourism offerings. It adds that under his stewardship, the nation has experienced a post-pandemic tourism revival marked by a booming hotel pipeline, growing airlift, a powerful cruise industry, and significant airport redevelopment projects. All this following a record-breaking year in 2023. The Bahamas is now solidified its status as a Caribbean tourism powerhouse. You're listening to JCN News. We'll take a break here. We'll be right back following these commercials.